Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Marvin J., founder of the Scholars of Success podcast. I'm here at Ebony and Ivory recording in there. They have a room in there. It's like basically a room of safety deposit boxes. Super cool. The only challenge is lighting, but nonetheless, we came prepared. I wanted to first give a little intro to this new podcast episode dropping today. It is with one of my newer friends. She is busy because she's about to have a whole fashion show this upcoming weekend at the Tacoma Armory. Please check it out. La Paisa, and also the collaborative partner. I don't know the official title, but the partnership with the Chaya movement, both, again, La Paisa and Zakia, amazing individuals, both highly creative. And I highly encourage you to check out La Paisa's fashion. It's based on sustainable materials. It's also based on, the concept of taking something that someone was going to throw away and turn it into a masterpiece. And so the innovation, the creativity is so high. And in this podcast episode, you hear more of La Paisa's story. La Paisa, she is originally from Colombia, but has been like this around the Seattle area for a while. I won't share too much of it because we're about to go on the podcast, but again, shout out to them. They have a whole fashion show coming out tomorrow, Saturday on the 11th at the Tacoma Armory. Highly encourage you to come out to support. I unfortunately am not going to be there just because I had some prior engagements. However, I want to be sure that I get this episode out for them to share and promote what they're doing. Again, the Chai Movement as well is a nonprofit to help fashion designers learn sustainable methods of creating, whether it's the actual methods or materials. And again, La Paisa, Zakia, if I get any of this wrong, shout me out. We'll clarify that on the back end, but I just want to make sure that you guys get the recognition, the flowers that you guys deserve. Again, both highly creative individuals, both are just full of life, full of passion, full of just happiness and joy about what they do and why they do it. So with that, again, this podcast episode just relays more about La Paisa's story. And there are some cool things that are happening in this video that haven't done a podcast before yet. And so again, please like, share, subscribe for the podcast, the Scholars of Success podcast. I'll attach the YouTube, Spotify, and Instagram. Those are my main methods of connection. I plan to add more for the podcast. And I'm also going to include La Paisa's and the Chaya movement, both their Instagram pages, so you can hear more about them, check them out, and then get to know them as well. So I think the most important thing is let's listen to the podcast. See you guys soon. Hey everyone, my name is Marvin, founder of the Scholars of Success podcast. And again, my hope is to do various podcast interviews from people from different industries, entrepreneurship, career paths. And here is one of my new friends. We met in July, I think it was, but again, local Seattle fashion artist and specifically sustainable artist. I want to put that in there because that is, one of the biggest highlights for you is that I want to find ways to have it be sustainable, not just brand new like materials all the time. So welcome, La Paisa.
Yay! Thank you.
So how's your day going?
It's going well. Traffic wasn't so bad, which for Seattle is a big thing. So it's going great.
Right. I was like parking around the block. Okay, making me work for it, but we're here and we're making it happen. Again, shout out to Cloud Room Studio. They're letting us use their podcast room. And again, at a reasonable price. I will say, Seattle, we need to work on our podcasting room capabilities because, again, I saw some places like $500, $900 an hour. I'm like, that is not creative money. That is big corporate money.
Yes.
So
more spaces. Yeah,
we're here. To start off, I want to say thank you so much. Being able to connect with you and again, having those meaningful conversations over time. Ever since we met, I was like, we should come on a podcast episode, but building like a good, I would say, business relationship. So I kind of want to start from the beginning because I've seen your logo and I've seen little La Paisa. And I really want to start with where you're from. Are you originally from Seattle or childhood?
My name's Natalia Montalvo. I was born in Medellin, Colombia. When I was like 92, so now I'm 33. I moved here when I was 14.
Oh, wow.
And went Medellin straight to Seattle. So literally bilingual. The logo explains that because it is split into two different ways. So it has a line in the middle because I'm neither from here or there.
Okay.
And in Spanish is ni de aquí ni de allá because you're just kind of like in a limbo.
Okay.
And then the fonts as well. So there's one font and there's another one. And it's just kind of like that limbo in between that, like, I'm too brown to be here and I'm too like Americanized to be in Colombia. So it's just like this forever lingo that I can't fit in.
Isn't that so bizarre though?
It
Like,
is.
especially like I'm Filipino, and so being born here, there's this concept of Americanization for a lot of people of different ethnic backgrounds. And so the question is, how do we stay true to our roots? But then when we try to do that, then we're criticized for it. And so you grew up in Colombia, and then from 14 you moved here. What was it like living in Colombia? One of my best friends wants to live there.
I mean, at that time, it was very different.
Right.
I mean, we moved for, serious reasons. Luckily, we were able to get here and we've had a future now. And like, I feel like I'm more a Seattleite than I am Colombian at times. But it was definitely different. Leaving my family was something not very easy. There's a lot of people that we didn't get to say goodbye to. We couldn't go back for 10 years. And then we finally were able to go back. We're citizens and very lucky that we're able to be part of this culture. And I also like, one of the things that my dad told me when we moved here was grab the best things out of the culture. Do not take any of the bad stuff that, like,
Right.
maybe might not be such a good like thing to learn from. So from both cultures, I just try to grab the best of the best and then just kind of leave the worst in the past.
Yeah, and I feel like a very similar pattern as well. Like growing up, it was just about school. I was really lazy when it came to school because I wasn't focused on my interests. But again, you have a big connection to family. And, what was it like, coming to America? And I had it, again, I was born here, but I had the perspective of people looking at me different because I was Filipino
Yeah.
instead of like, hey, I wasn't white or black or mixed. So it was just a really bizarre feeling.
Um, It was strange, but I didn't know that it was strange until after a while because it was definitely a giant culture shock. When I was in Colombia, my mom put me in English classes and I cheated on my tests because I didn't know I needed them. I was like, when am I ever going to need this?
Right.
I couldn't even say, can I go to the bathroom when I got here? It was really like culture shocking. And I went into middle school and my middle school was very Caucasian. I went to Kirkland, like a middle school in
Okay.
Kirkland.
Like
So,
Kirkland, Washington?
like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was extremely white. Nothing wrong with that, but it was just like really hard to fit in. And mostly because like I have black curly hair and I was tan and I just like
Right.
looked different. So I think people were looking at me like I was just candy and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And then I also didn't speak the language. So like girls will get upset with me and I'm like, what did I do to you? And I
Right.
couldn't defend myself. So it was just like, it was very culture shocking. Music wise was culture shocking. I was very uncomfortable at times, but then I found my crowd of like Latin people that I could like hang around. So I felt like I found my space, but it was hard. It was really culturally hard.
Would you say at that time that you mentioned like the Latin community for you, was that like something that was still like up and coming, or was it you had to really search or build that kind of community? Like, was it very prominent at that time, or?
No, it was like out of the whole school, it was one table. And all of us would
Oh.
sit together. Yeah, it
Oh,
was one
wow.
table. So
Wow.
we would just kind of like find each other at lunch. But then they had this classes, I don't know if they still have them in school. They're called ESL, English as a second
Yeah.
language. That's where I found my people. And I found a lot of Brazilians. Like Brazilians became my second family. So then I started like learning Portuguese and just kind of like listening to it. So like they can speak and I'll understand it, but I can't talk back.
Yeah.
But I found my people and then I started getting really close to like Asian and African and like literally everybody else who was not Caucasian that was in English class.
Right.
We had no other choice but to speak English with each other because we were from all different kinds of countries.
Right.
And then I think that in middle school, I only had 2 friends that spoke Spanish. So I think that's also why I learned so fast because I didn't have any other choice but to speak English.
And the one thing I wanted to note as well, especially like growing up in that kind of style, did you find that? Because I found a similar notion where it's like when it comes to people of different background, like I didn't necessarily get along with white kids because for some reason, like people look down on me because for certain things, I don't know why. I'm a Christian. I believe that when you're like criticized or marginalized in a certain way, it's to train you for something else. I try to find a positive solution in it, but I found most of my friends that were black, that were Latin, that were Native American, that were just like again, I could resonate with them a little bit more because they felt a similar experience. You mentioned Brazilian. It's so funny because one of the DJs who was at your event in July is now one of my best friends.
DJ Tata.
DJ Tata, yeah. And I tag her out. She's like, I'm a shout out to you, DJ Tata. She's so cool. And I'm about to see her on Friday at her, I think she's playing at Sarajevo.
She's so good.
Her energy, like her and her friends are just like, yo, we're just dancing, having a good time. I'm like, these are cool people. Like,
Dude,
there's
I
no
love Brazilians. I should have been born in Brazil. I love Brazilians. They have an energy that I just cannot understand, and I love them.
Right. They're just like very loving, almost like very hospitable. And I was like, yo, I want to visit Brazil just to meet the people.
Yeah.
But then some people are like, is Brazil a nice place? Like, I don't care. I want to like experience the people. I'm like, I just learned that you have to take some risks, especially to challenge previous notions. Like, for example, I've been connecting with the community in Tacoma, and it's been about 3-4 months now. But unfortunately, I didn't grow up going down to Tacoma. So I have people looking at me like, you're crazy for going down there. You're like, you're asking to get hurt. It's like, can't you get hurt anywhere though?
Yeah.
Right. Car especially accident, Seattle now.
Anywhere, literally anywhere.
Right.
So right. I feel like finding community is difficult.
Yeah.
I didn't have that in middle school as much because I think like once we got older is when kids became different.
Right.
Like when I was in high school, I think I felt like a little bit different than I did in middle school. I think in middle school, even though I went to a really Caucasian school, kids were really nice to me and they, whatever Spanish they knew, they would try to help me. Like I remember this girl in math class, where they paired her up with me because she took like 2 years of Spanish. Okay. So then she would say the numbers in Spanish. But when it started becoming like a lot harder and more like prominent was after high school. Because I think my high school was actually a really nice high school to be inclusive. Sure. And it was a little bit harder for me to feel that racism. I felt it from my teachers. I did not feel it from my colleagues, like from students. I felt it from teachers. So it was a different experience. And I don't know if I just like didn't clock it. And I'm like, here in La La Land. But I don't know. I think that like I found my people and I think kids were really nice. I think it was the grown-ups that were teaching kids how to be mean. That was like a different story. And then when I went into the corporate world was when I felt it the hardest. And then when I started when I started figuring out like college and stuff, that's when I started hitting it like the most, where like colleges were like, your English is not good enough to get into the school. But then I got into a private school. So I didn't understand that. Like they just didn't want me because I was Latin and I didn't have a 4.0. So I started feeling it after high school.
Wow. And so you start feeling this, like, was this like 90s, early 2000s? Like when you're like in college and you start experiencing like...
No, not 90s. I'm not that old. I went to college 2012.
Damn.
So it wasn't that bad.
Okay. I'm just like, because, there's always like, you have to find like the timeline of, okay, like what was actually going on at that time. So I'm sorry that
it's okay.
I'm going to put that in the chats. Like I did not mean to low-key insult a very prominent fashion designer. Like I'm going to find ways to support you. Please come back on the podcast. Like I don't mean it like that. So, we're having a good time. In
the 90s, I was in Colombia. 2006 is when I arrived here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Dang. I graduated high school in 2014, so I must have been in like maybe like late elementary school or like early.
Shoot, so you're younger than me.
I'm 29.
Yeah, you're younger than me. I graduated high school 2011.
Okay.
Just a few years apart.
Yes, because I'm 96, so that makes sense. 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and then I also, because in Colombia you have only 11 years, in the U.S. you have 12.
11? Really?
11.
That's so bizarre. 11.
Kids graduate like sometimes 16, sometimes 17, and then they go straight into university. And then it's also calendar A, because you have calendar B here. So you start school here in September. In Colombia, you start school in January.
That makes more sense. It's kind of right, because like you go through the winter season instead of getting like the late Christmas holiday breaks, boom. But
I think it's because of the summer. People want to enjoy the summer here.
Oh, America!
It's everything's backwards here.
Yeah, it's so. Let's get back on track here because it's always funny. But so when did you start like gaining these like ideas and aspirations? Like, hey, I want to start working with fashion and working with materials. Was that something you always had? Or was that, where did that love for fashion come from?
I've always had it, but money talks.
Yeah.
So moving countries, being an immigrant, there's responsibilities that you have that a kid that was either born here and had parents that could support it financially in this country is completely different. So having my parents, my dad has like more than 2 degrees. My mom has 2 degrees. Like they're studied people. But when we moved here, we had to do the jobs that could pay the bills.
Right.
So I was going to high school and I got very lucky that I didn't have to have like any side hustles or anything like that during high school. My dad was landscaping. My dad is a technical engineer and he's an IT. Like there's a friend that hired him to make holes on the ground because my dad is not a handyman. And he was just like, I need to help feed your family, basically. And my mom, nanny, she cleaned houses. She did what every Latin person that comes into this country kind of does. Now she's a nanny and a YouTuber successfully, and she's very proud of it. She also studied technical engineer. And like my parents are really smart people and my family's really smart. So moving here, I had that responsibility of I need to choose a career that even though it's in the arts, makes money.
Right.
So never in a million years did I think I'm going to choose fashion because it's a hard one to get into.
Right.
So I've always had it in my blood. My grandma taught me how to sew, my grandma from my father's side. And I know that it had been there. I just didn't know how to get in, but like making money. So I went the graphic design route. And I'm an art director at a large company. I do marketing. I do the graphic design. I do the campaign running. And that's like bread and butter for me. It's easy. But even when I was in college, my college graduation project was a full fashion line.
Oh, God.
And then I was like, I did the fashion line. I built the actual like outfits, but then I built the campaign over it because I was like what I was supposed to be doing. Wow. And then a couple of years ago, I went through a health journey where like my body, I have this condition where I couldn't lose the weight. It's called PCOS. So I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. And my body just kept gaining weight. I ended up weighing 270 pounds was my heaviest. And I needed to make something happen. And I have been fighting it for 10 years. I took this decision and this is all like on my personal Instagram and I talk about it very like openly, but I had gastric sleeve surgery, which meant that my body was going to readjust and I ended up losing 100 pounds. But my love for fashion while I was bigger, I was like, well, I have all these outfits. I have all this stuff that I curated. Finding pieces when you're bigger is hard. It's really hard. And mostly when you're like in the streetwear, like clothing. So I'm like wearing men's pants, which I still do. I'm finding like Supreme hoodies and things, but like a 2XL was not big enough. So everything that I wanted to do was not available for me. So when I lost the weight and I had curated all these clothes, I'm like, I cannot let them go to waste. I spent so much money on these clothes. My shoe collection is huge because it was the only thing that I could fit. And so after that, I remember my grandma taught me how to sew. It was COVID times. I bought a little sewing machine on Amazon and I just started like reworking my clothes from my closet.
Wow.
And then when I was outside, people would be like, where'd you get that? Where'd you buy that? Where'd you get it? And I'm like, oh, I think there might be something here. So then I just built 30 pieces to start off. I didn't have an LLC. I didn't have anything. But I did have what I know best, which is branding and graphic design. So then I created my brand, I created my logo, and I was like, let me shoot my shot.
Hey, whoop up.
Yeah, literally. I went to SneakerCon because I had been a fan. And the year prior, I went to SneakerCon with my best friend, my husband, and a couple of other friends. But I was telling my best friend during that show, so that would have been 2023. That was the first time I went to a SneakerCon, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, this is all for guys. This is all oriented for males. Like, where are the girls shopping?
There's not one. You're saying there's not one female like designer, or just not females in there?
There's nothing to shop for a girl, or at least girlies that like corsets, or they like baggy pants, or that they have options that it's not super masculine, or if it is, like, is it gender neutral? Like, do we have places to shop? We didn't. So when I went to SneakerCon, I was like, girl, if we just put like a booth right here with t-shirts that are actually cute and they're gender neutral, like they could do really well. And she's like, you're not lying. So in the year after, I was like, let me get in here. Like, I know SneakerCon, I know sneakers, I know the streetwear like world because that's where I'm in.
Hey.
So then when it was time to apply, I didn't want to apply for like the regular tables. I applied for the actual branded booths, and everybody called me crazy. They're like, "You're insane. That's a lot of money." And I'm like, "Yeah, but if I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna launch it, I'm gonna launch it right, or else I shouldn't do it at all."
Right.
And that's just like my marketing and like my graphic design brain thinking. And when I did that, I did not believe where it was going to take me. I just thought it was fun. I was like, if I make the money back, cool. Right. I sold the 30 pieces in 3 days and I made all my money back in some. And it was insane. I was like, what? And it was people just coming up like, I've never seen this in Seattle before. People that came from New York and they bought pieces, people from LA, and just like that streetwear like culture that just hasn't seen it in Seattle, and mostly upcycled. But it all started because I had an issue. I needed to fix it. And then I filled in like a spot in the market in Seattle specifically. And then I went the sustainable route. So there was like so many things that I was touching on that I'm like, okay, there might be something here. I just never thought that it was going to end up where it is today.
Well, first off, that's incredible.
Thank you.
I think that as soon, like anytime you want to do something successful, there's always going to be people that say, what if? I'm like, I'm sorry, like you don't see what I see. Mm-hmm. You're not dealing exactly with my problem. So again, shout out for you to bridging the gap in that issue, and also not bridging it, but also making it successful. Mm-hmm. So we have some pieces here, and I want to make sure, like, what's the fit check? Because we're here talking to a fashion designer. So I want to take a moment also to like have her share about some of the pieces she has. But first off, you guys probably think this is like regular leather, right? And again, we talk about sustainable materials in fashion. This is made out of apple leather, guys. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it looks like regular leather to me. Like
it feels like regular leather. Yeah.
So how did this come to pass? Because even when I saw it at the fashion show in July, I was like, I haven't seen a bag like that. Even just the look, you know, people for like AirPods, maybe their phone, maybe like lip gloss or something in here. But I'm like, this is, even as a guy, I'm like, I could wear this as a guy. I think that'd be great. So like, walk us through at least the inspiration for the bag. And then also, you were telling the story about the cover bag earlier, but even that as well it would be great.
Yeah, of course. So I go to these conventions where I like learning about sustainability and new technology. I don't just like try to figure out how to do things on my own, because there are people out there that are a lot smarter than I am. Right. So I like to go investigate and do my research. I go to these events where they have all these new type of fabrics and leathers. There's cactus, mango, pineapple, like mushroom. There's everything out there that now they're making out of the food waste industry. So this is apple skin.
Apples, not even just the apple skin?
Is the apple skin. What? And it's from all the like apples that are either going bad or they get tossed or whatever, because there's so much food waste. Then it gets mixed with the same chemical that a leather would be treated with, but the chemical is a lot less, like way less than what an animal one would be treated. Okay. And then they turn it into the actual like leather. So this is apple skin. And then the pockets and the way that I designed it was because I own a lot of purses, I own a lot of bags, but there wasn't really a shoulder one that I liked, that like the sizing of it or that was big enough. And this one, I carry my water bottle, the thing to clean my glasses, my badges, my wallet, my phone, my business cards, my lip gloss, my keys, my AirPods. And then whenever people give me business cards, which is more common than you would think, I always stash them on these ones because I always lose them. So then it was basically just like another problem that I was fixing. I'm like, I have this issue. I don't have a bag that I really like for this. And then I also love the color like military green.
Right.
It's very gender neutral. It's something like seasonal that is like so delicious. And I don't know. I gravitated towards the green.
And no matter what, like even for example, if I was wearing just like a black shirt and like black pants, boom, it pops out just enough. It grabs attention. And like, that's what I saw from me, is like everything else at the fashion show was super cool. Was like, I need to find a way to get this bag. Like I'm still thinking about, like, I'm looking at like a stony phone. Like, bag. I'm like, you know, because I'm like the same thing. I'm very functional. Like, yes, I want to look cute and I want to have nice stuff, but I'm like, I don't want to just have a fanny pack like everyone else does. Like I want to find, again, I want to support my friends in their business, doing what they do. And then it's so out of the box.
Thank you.
As someone who's like an innovator trying to find new ways to do things, I'm like, this is cool because again, it's functional for the girlies and the guys. Yeah. And again, if I had to rate it, like 20 out of 10. Boop, 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 boop. And so what about the cover piece? I know you shared a story about that, and even the font. I'd love for you to share a little bit about that.
Another cool little thing about the bags is that they're numbered. they have a serial number inside.
Oh, like
and it's from 1 to 110.
Okay.
Because the people that I'm working with that make the bags for me had extra leather, and they're like, "Do you want to use it or do you want somebody else?" And I'm like, no, I will use it. It was supposed to be only 100. So I have number 1, my mom has number 2, and they all have the number back here.
Yeah.
But it's LP, the number, and then O for olive, because I will never drop the bag again. Like once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably drop it in different colors, but I will never drop it in the olive green again. And then the dust baggies, I find a lot of this upholstery fabric that just kind of like gets tossed, and it was by like the roll. So then I made 110 baggies with different types of upholstery materials, so that I could have the dust bag for the bags, and people could like keep them safe and protect them.
Yeah.
There's a price to the bag that is, it's not technically luxury, but it is a higher price than, like regular fast fashion brands. So I'm like, how can I make it feel special? So then people take care of their bag, and they take care of something sustainable, and they don't want to buy the $15 bag from like a Zara or a Forever 21, but they actually want to buy something that will last a really long time. It's a statement piece, and it's sustainable, and is limited edition. And then I was explaining to you the logo. So my logo is split into 2. Is La Paisa. Paisa is just what we're called in Medellin. So we're all named Paisas. If you're from the coast, you're costeño. If you're from Bogotá, you're Rolo, and so on and so forth in Colombia, right? I put the in front of it as in like I'm the main Paisa because of the brand. So it was like a little bit of a cocky moment.
Yeah. I'm the big Paisa.
I'm the main one. It was like, how can I sound cool? And then it's split into 2 fonts, and it's also split in half because I'm neither from here or there.
Right.
Ni de aquí ni de allá. Because I'm too brown to be here and I make people uncomfortable, and then I'm too Americanized to be over there. So sometimes I don't understand the jokes. There's certain words that I don't get anymore because I'm not there. I've been here for 19 years. I was there for 14. So it's a lot.
Right. And especially because you're still assimilating new information. It's like everything's changing all the time. I also wanted to, again, what's so cool about this is that I thought it was only going to be one color. So that you just secretly dropped, you're going to do more colors. So I'm like, dang, I'm not really a bag person. I like to have like 1 or 2, but I'm like, I might have to get one in a few different colors. So you heard it. Mm-hmm. You heard it on the podcast. First, there's going to be more than this, but I love it. I still, how many have you sold so far? Roughly?
I think almost half of them.
Okay.
So we still have half. And then for the big show that is coming in October, I think we might be able to either sell out or be close to selling out. Because the thing with this is like, from a brand that just started, the connectivity or like the connection from people, getting to know me, they're like, why am I buying this one? And once they see the story behind La Paisa, which is basically what the show is going to be about, I think they'll have more of a relationship with me where they'll be like, I need to have that. It was crazy because like on the first SneakerCon, a girl had me sign one of the tote bags that I was selling for literally like $5. And I'm like, why are you doing this? I'm literally nobody. And she's like, you're going to be so big one day. Like, I want to remember this moment. And I was crying. I was like, no, ew, why? But like, I will forever remember her, and I will forever remember that moment where she saw me further than I could see myself.
Right.
So it's like now in these moments when people have like a bag and it's numbered and they see themselves in the future, like maybe 5 years down the road, they're like, I was there for the first bag. And it's like a whole story. Right.
And again, the thing I love about it, it's not just because people drop, like brands just drop stuff to drop it. They find the trendiest things that are going on, maybe certain shows or certain maybe events. But again, what I love is like the drops are actually meaningful to you and your story. So again, kudos to that.
Thank you.
I need to get one of these. I need to say, can you sign like the inside flap? Listen, I got to find a way. Will you share with us the vest? It's kind of tucked in the back. I'm going to hold it up, but
go for it.
Yeah.
So I work a lot with tapestry, and I like to do a lot of hand sewing. So this right here is all hand embroidery, and the tapestry is actually a vintage tapestry that I found at a quilting event, and it was just like hanging on a wall. And I asked the lady, I always ask them respectfully if I can cut it up, because some of them are like, you cannot cut that. Right. But this one, she was like, go for it. And so I decided to do like something fun on it. Because even though it's something old, that's the beautiful like part of upcycling. Like you can do so many things with things from the past, but to bring them to the like present, what's still holding history. So this one, it's very much like Bridgerton vibes for me. But I'm like, how do we make it fun? How do we make it like streetwear? And so the shape of it, the fabric of it that I use for the inside, and just like bringing the vest, having it to be like unisex, and repurposing also this one because I found this one also at a secondhand store. And then just like bringing the art into it and something funky was so fun. This is a piece that is not for sale, but it's one that like is literally one of my favorite ones, and I hope to hold it forever.
The private collection, not for sale. You heard her. I love this one right here with the pink mustache. I don't know if you can see that. That's a pink mustache. And again, you're just always so creative and ingenious. I'll see if they go on the back.
Yeah, the back has like the glasses and a necklace and earrings and more glasses. I think there's a doggy somewhere, and I put something on. Oh, I put a little doggy collar on the dog.
Oh,
Wow.
And then I even you can't hide that from me.
No.
I see you. We got to tag our business. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put this back. Wow.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, but I'm a sucker for that stuff. Like people, again, the thing I've learned is that people emotionally buy, and people might buy out of emotion. Like I'm trying to relieve stress, but I think also people want some attachment to a piece. They don't want it to be like, oh, I'm just buying this shirt. Because if you just buy a shirt, you can buy it at any other business. But if there's, again, I'm that person where like, if I have a friend that's in business and I know they make really great quality product and there's like a story behind it, you bet your butt I'm going to like support them and find a way to like, listen, I'm going to buy some of your stuff somehow, some way. And, again, so let's talk about like the events coming up, because I want to make sure that you get the time to do that. So we met at it was Fashion y Fiestanon, and that was on the Hayu, which if you don't know it's literally a ferry that's in Seattle, and it's for event, it's an event venue itself. So music, DJs, DJ Tata was there. There was so many different DJs, drinks, a good time. But can you share your experience with that before we start coming to the like events coming first?
Of course. And this year was a testing year for me. I do a lot of testing and I do a lot of learnings, because the pieces that I drop are not only like emotional and like there's a connection on like what kind of collections I'm dropping, but I think it's also doing more the styling than just the buying because we're buying. I'm
Right.
trying to get into people's closets because we share similarities, or you want a statement piece, and most of my pieces are statement pieces. So then since the beginning of the year, I was like, I'm going to test a couple of things out. Last year, a lot of people were asking me, are you going to do any fashion shows? And I'm like, no, you're crazy. That's not going to work. Absolutely not. And at the end of the year, they kept asking, are you going to do any fashion shows? And I'm like, no, I've seen you guys do fashion shows. I don't want to do fashion shows. But then when it kept getting closer, I started doing my yearly planning, because I try to do a year ahead of planning. Right. And I knew when I was telling some of my close friends, like, I want to do a small, medium, and large. So that's how I was like, let me just test the waters and see how it goes. The first one was in January, and that was January 31st. We did an online fashion show. We had two DJs. We had a performers by... so we had DJ Malanoche, and then we had, oh my gosh, why am I forgetting? The Hospitality was there, and he was like throwing like literally throwbacks. It was amazing. And then we have Mallory Holiday, who sang in the middle. And then we had some sponsorships, and I thought in that one, I was like, let's do 5 people. It ended up being a team of 40. It was a big team. And then we ended up doing everything live streamed. And we had like a treadmill where they were walking, and the whole fashion show is still on my YouTube channel. Then the second one was July, and it was Fashion y Fiestanon, but I wasn't planning to do it like that. Ooh. Rio is my ambassador. Shout out to Rio. Love you some Rio.
Yo soy Rio.
Yo soy Rio. Shout out to you, friend. He asked me to do a piece for his birthday last year. And it was a vest, and it's phenomenal. I like spent so much time on it. And after that, he's like, let's do something together. And I was like, okay. You're going to be my ambassador. Like, I really liked working with him, and everything was very natural. And then he's like, I have this great idea, but just let me know if you want to. He's like, what about if you do a fashion show on a boat? And I was like, no.
No way.
Absolutely not. Everything that you would say, I'd be like, no, you're crazy. So then he actually, can we go on a tour and like look at it? And I'm like, no. So then when we went, he was like, can we do it? And I was like, I guess so. It's fine. And then we ended up planning everything. We had 5 DJs. We had I had 14 models. I was supposed to have 16, but 2 of them we had like issues. They're like medical or something went down. So you always have the ones that just kind of like drop.
Right.
And never in a million years did I think that we oversold. We were supposed to have a cap, and we had 377 people on that boat.
What was the cap?
350.
350.
Like we oversold, and we were stressing because there were people still at the front. They were like, "Can we buy tickets?" And we're like, "We have no more tickets to sell.
No mas.
Why do we do?" And it was really cool to like bring music and fashion to a giant party. So that was like my medium. I'm like, can we gather this many people? So now my large one, it's going to be October 11th. And that one is in collaboration with the Chaya Movement, which is a nonprofit that raises funds for sustainable fashion change makers for the future. And they have an internship program that is from 16 to 24. That way they can have 12 weeks that they can partner with a clothing brand here or in a different state, or if they're in a different state, and they get to learn about sustainable fashion for the future. So I was able to have an intern this summer, Michelle, and she's amazing. And the internship is almost over, so I want to cry. But we're raising funds for that for next year. And so the whole event, like literally, I'm only getting a portion of the ticket sales, and everything else goes to the Chaya Movement because we have a big goal to raise. And then we're able to bring the fashion show together. But this, we're trying to sit 500 people.
And don't be scared. Like the Tacoma Armory, where it's at, I thought it was like a tiny little like no, it's huge. You go to the left, and it's boom. You have a whole freaking venue concert place. I was like, wow, this is actually ginormous.
Yeah, and everybody gets front row. We had an architect, and I have them tagged on my Instagram. Also happens to be my amazing cousin. She designed the whole floor plan for the venue, so everybody gets front row. I know.
I'm really curious. First off, I need that contact info because I need to figure out if ever I need an architect, either for a home or for like even planning that stuff. I want to connect. I'm a networker, so I'm like, you now have intrigued me.
Isn't it crazy that you can get like a floor plan for seating and just like give them a number? And we had to lower our number because she had figured out how to sit more people.
Yeah.
But we had to lower the number to 500. So we can sit 500 people and have them also front row, which is absolutely bonkers.
You really like it is like mind blowing me. I'm like the emoji. I'm like,
yeah,
huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be intense, and also not only is it gonna be in collaboration, but the title is called For, and there's going to be a blank that will be filled in at the event.
Ooh,
because the whole show is gonna be storytelling. So you're not gonna be standing for 2 hours and trying to network or whatever. Like everything is planned to the T. And the show itself, like we have a portion for the Chaya Movement, so they get to learn more about like Zakia, and they get to know more about the Chaya Movement and like the changes that we're making in Seattle, or she's making in Seattle. I have nothing to do with that. I'm just like helping her with this. And then the second section is the fashion show, but the fashion show lasts about an hour.
Shout out to Zakia. Yes. Shout out to the Chaya Movement. Yes. And I also met her at Fashion Fiesta on Cool. Just I haven't even gotten to know her that well, but she's phenomenal.
She's amazing.
Phenomenal. And I even though I am not in fashion, I still want to learn about sustainability because again, long term, it's like I always thought like hemp is going to be the next best thing when it comes to fashion in terms of material, and it's not. It's mango, like you said. It's apple leather, bamboo. Oh, yep,
that's a huge one.
Yep. What are ones that surprised you when it came to like learning about sustainable like materials specifically?
There's so much because it could be like the material, or it could be the practice, or it could be like something that they're saving. So like when I go into these events and I try to learn like, I'm scared to get into denim because denim is huge in pollution. There are companies that are like, actually, here are some technologies that we're adding so then we can use less water, or we can like, not use as many dyes. And I also met another manufacturer that I really, really loved because he's like, the food industry is wasting so much of this leather that we're actually connecting with this food industry to save that leather so it doesn't get tossed, because that is so much pollution as well. So there are people that are finding new technologies, and then like materials. So like bamboo is a really like shocking one. pineapple. I saw pineapple shoes and it was really cool, but I was like, ooh, the color is scary, but everything else is
Is
crazy.
it more of like a brownish, or what does the color look like?
It's like a cream. So,
Ooh.
but it has a texture. And I'm like, wait, that in water, how does that add up? Because it feels like a suede, but it's not. It's so strange.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Question mark on the pineapple shoes, but it's still an ingenious idea. You know, what are some facts that you want people to hear about when it comes to fashion? Because I think that, you know, having been a part of like the Chai movement a little bit, you hear certain things like, this shocked me when I first learned about how much waste comes from the fashion industry. What are some of those things that, if they come to mind to you?
Yeah, Zakia has been such a good teacher in the past year because we met at a fashion show last year. So the fact that we're like this close friends is insane in a short period amount of time. And a lot of my connections now have come from last year, and like this year, and my circle is like beautiful and I love my community. She has taught me a lot, like clothing swaps and trying to figure out like the pound system as to like how to trade the clothes so then actually don't get thrown into the landfill. Putting one that I really like is taking apart the clothes that are sort of like the same material and turning it back into thread. So then it can just go back into the cycle of let's turn the thread into an actual garment, or let's turn the thread into like what we're actually sewing with. So that one I really liked. How they're treating like materials or like the denim, if they have these washing machines. And this is what I was like learning at the events that I go to, but how they're using less water to try to treat the denim so we can still have like cool denim and be like stylish, but without having to do so much damage to the environment. And then facts are just like sustainability does not have to be boring. You can take a really old tapestry and turn it into a cool vest. You can, you know, do vintage, but maybe change a couple of things and then bring it back to life. There's like cleaning mechanisms that you can do to like leather so then it can go back to being close to its original form. And that fashion you can purchase, style you cannot. So you don't have to be rich to be stylish. You can be rich and be fashionable and look tacky.
Right. Oh yeah.
But
no places like that.
It's hard to be stylish. So style doesn't really have a price. It's just like it's a language. You can, you know, talk to somebody else without having to say a word. That's kind of like how sneakerheads roll around. Like I remember when I was at my office and there's this other sneakerhead that we looked at each other like, and like we knew because we just clocked each other's shoes and they're like, we can be friends. But we didn't have to say anything. So it's just like that language and style and in the fashion world is what gets me excited. It's not really like the price tag.
And I think that's what's so unique. It's just like the same thing with actual art, right? Like if you are a lover of a certain artist, you're going to find more correlation. Even just that little story alone of how you're like, just because I looked at someone's shoes. And again, when we looked at the vest and it didn't even show off like the hoodie.
Yeah.
But just the fact that every piece tells a story. And again, I just love the fact that we don't have to keep on making new stuff to be quote unquote trendy. We can find stuff that, like, I kid you not, I swear I've seen like 3 or 4 rug stores that are saying out of business. I'm like, best way to freaking get cool rugs, you know, and repurpose that into something awesome. But I think we're so conditioned that we have to have the newest thing, the newest iPhone, the newest piece of material that we forget that we can make new things out of old things as well.
Yeah, trends are honestly toxic for our environment because trends shouldn't really be a thing. We're like, okay, the 90s are back. And it's like, they've been there. Like the 90s fashion has been there. It's just like, will you wear those 90s pants or are you more of a baggy person? Like I personally don't ever want to wear skinny jeans again. That doesn't mean that I can't turn those skinny jeans into the cargos. Like it doesn't mean that I can give it a different life or that somebody else will wear it. I think trends is what's killing the fashion industry and also the speed because bigger brands, and it sucks because I've worked for them, but like bigger brands are experts at the marketing side of things. Like they got a bigger budget. So it's like, how fast can we push this out? So like, I really look up to Paris and what they're doing for fast fashion, and they're clocking all these brands and be like, you're greenwashing, you're doing this wrong. You're not, you know, following guidelines as to how like the workers should be paid. Or, you know, like materials, and you're actually putting toxics into the materials. And people need to know that that $3 shirt is going to cost you more than if you find one that is a sustainable material, or if it's good for your skin, or if it's good for your body and it doesn't have any toxins in it. I think people need to think about that price tag. Like, is it cheap or is it actually doing more harm?
Right. And again, we just live in a time where we don't check the cost. We just consume, not just with social media, with our clothing, with the things we buy, instead of like, hey, what does this affect leaving long term? Like, for example, what happens to the shirts that, they sit and they're on sale, but no one buys them? Trash. What about things that people quote unquote had or maybe lost clothes? Trash. Instead of finding ways to, again, repurpose and make them into like almost evolving it in a way to make it a whole new style. So I want you to share more about, again, the event on October 11th, really emphasizing that. And then I think we can start wrapping up.
Cool. October 11th at the Tacoma Armory, it's going to be the show called Four.
Yes.
With the Paisa X the Chaya movement. There's going to be music, DJ, live music, dressed to the nines, because it's going to be like, if you show up sort of basic, you might regret it. Like, just might regret it. And the show in July proved it, because everybody was like dressed to the nines, at least in black and white. So it's going to be a really fun show.
Is there a color theme for this event?
There's no color theme. There's just like dress to the nines. Dress your like best. Whatever you have in your closet that you have not worn in a really long time, pull it out. Okay.
I'm going to tell you right now, because I went through so many size changes that like I don't have, most of my formal clothes are too small. That's why like I have to buy bigger shirts, because it's the shoulder seam. I have to wear like not fitted shirts when it's like was it like a streetwear kind of I think I'm blanking on the term. Streetwear, it's just like a baggier fit, or else like it just hurts the shoulders and I feel like I'm gonna rip it out. Like,
well, there's thrifting.
Yes.
There's blazers. There's things that you can cut up.
Yes.
I feel like if you were going to New York Fashion Week, what would you wear? So get those pieces out, stack stuff, put 3 ties together, like get creative and see how much fun you have. Because we have so many photographers, so many videographers. We have a team of 98. And I don't think that you want to like miss out on the opportunity.
Do you recommend any good like thrifting places? Because like honestly, the only thrifting places haven't sound so bad, like Goodwill and Value Village.
No, there's so many good consignment stores too. Because I love those too. I love Goodwill and I love me a good Value Village.
Right.
But if you're looking for streetwear and you're looking to have it secondhand, Lucky Dog, and shout out to Lucky Dog. I have been shopping there for years.
Okay.
They carry great thrifting, but streetwear curated.
Yeah.
So you might find a lot of Supreme and Keith and like different brands like Polos, Adidas, Nike, but just like rare stuff. And I kid you not, I buy most of my streetwear like secondhand. I buy it at Lucky Dog.
And what if it's more formal wear? Because I haven't busted out the formal wear in a while. So I'm like, October 11th is not far away. Right.
You can mix it up. Like you could do like an oversized like baggy pant.
Right.
And then you could also do like a blazer.
Right.
You could have, maybe some overalls, but then you put it with a button up and then you add a tie in there. And then you have like some like loafers. Like there's so much like you don't.
I got the loafers that I do have.
There you go.
Yeah.
If you're thinking of formal well, like a suit, like you don't have to you don't have to do that. Mix it up.
This is why you have friends in every avenue. And on live on the podcast, I'm getting free fashion advice from a Seattle fashion designer. So what's up? So I'm going to ask these few questions and then we can start winding down. Again, as you've looked at your journey, from where you came from in Colombia to where you are now, what would you say are like certain principles or values or maybe even memories that you hold dear that propelled you forward? Because I think we look at success and we're like, oh my God, like La Paisa is blowing up. But it's like, I wish you would have seen me when I was still trying to figure it all out. Like you said, you weren't expecting to do this to make money. You just were solving your problem. Yeah. And now it grew into something else. What are some of those for you?
Yikes. Hard work and really hard times are shaping times for you. Yeah. They're not there to beat you over. They're there to train you for something bigger. And I've been beaten to the ground for the past year. So I know that I'm training for something bigger than what I can think, because I would never have thought that in that first sneaker con, I was going to be doing a fashion show with 500 people. Or that whenever I'm building community, I was thinking of only the people like close to me and being a yes type of person. but not everybody is going to have my back and be there for me. So building a community that is strong enough for me to have and has my back and I have theirs is like so important. So now the community that I have, I hold dear to my heart.
Absolutely.
So like my teammates are just something so like crazy and grateful that I have. Making sure that you have good, like, I don't know, like an open mind to like, is that person good for me or is that person bad for me? Like protect your circle. Protect your circle at all costs because not everybody is meant to be with you.
Right. You gotta like for me, I kind of build a portfolio with people in my mind and I'm like, hey, is this someone I want to trust entering that inner circle? Because like, yeah, they might be ex-connected, but are they the kind of people that will not just ride or die, but I mean, hey, are they that person that's going to be there for you when you're at a point that you can't handle everything?
Yeah.
And that's a give and take, you know, but I think that's important to, again, really think about the power of relationships. It's a blessing and a curse.
That's a good way to put it. The power of relationships. There's people that business wise are great for you, but there are people that should be at arm's length.
Right.
And building a community, I would say, is like one of the most important things that I have done to move forward. You can't go big alone. You can go as a team. And if you're not willing to have each other's backs, you're going to get nowhere because you're too busy fighting down here instead of getting somewhere with your teammates, you know?
Right. I heard it this way is like when you look at like the big players collaborate. So you want to raise the people that you're with, your community, to have that kind of culture.
Yeah.
Because if not, you're fighting all the way to the top. Maybe you could have been at the top already if you just had that same vision. And that's what I start, especially building my community. I'm like, hey, instead of 10, 15 people trying to do this one thing, why don't we just all focus on one target? We might have different avenues, but we're trying to hit the same spot together. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
How do you see yourself or even La Paisa as a brand really bridging the gap? Because like you're mentioning earlier, like fashion is an incredibly hard market or niche to expand and grow it. And you, again, like I said, you have amazing traction. Like things are going really well and I'm very happy for you. But I want to give hope to some people because then people say this and I think it's quote unquote, it's bullshit. People say market's oversaturated. How do you expect you're going to be big? It's like, are they me? You know, are they what, you know, we go that way. So
it's not that like it's me. Cause at some point, if I were to think about it, I'm like, oh, could I sell my brand in the future? Sure. You know, like it's more, am I feeling something in the market that is missing? Maybe not. But what is the connection that I'm building? What kind of community am I building and who is looking up to my brand? And I didn't think about that at the beginning. I was just like, I'm trying to fulfill something that I was missing for me and making sure that people are comfortable. I think that my brand has moved to like not only like a community, it's also a Latin and women owned community that like younger women are looking up to me. Or for example, what just happened to me with the store that I was supposed to open and it just went completely south. I was able to be the voice for immigrants that couldn't speak up. So it makes me happy to be, not that I asked for it, but to be at the forefront for maybe young adults that happen to be Latin and think that they only have certain choices. Actually, no, there's more. Or for women, like actually you can do this as a woman. You don't need, you know, extra people or like, I don't have a team. It's just me. It's literally just myself. And then I have friends that we build a community where we're growing, you know, faster. Or, you know, just trying to not only filling up the gap for problem solving as to like what I'm doing, but I think that I'm also being able to be the face for people that don't want to do it or are scared to do it or need like that little mentor up front to do it. So not that I wanted to and not that I asked for it, but surprisingly I got there. So I get messages over DMs and calls and emails. It's like, I hadn't seen a woman be at that place and mostly like a Latin woman in Seattle doing what you're doing. So kudos to you. And if I find more girls that are like me and, you know, people that I could identify to me, like I want to hang out with them. I want to be friends with them. Like I want to grow as a community and try to figure out how us Latin people can get further together instead of being like separated. So it's just like, it's a weird question because I never asked for it. I was just trying to do something cool and fun. but then it ended up being bigger than myself. So what I hope for my brand in the future is like that it's a kind brand that is a brand for everyone, which is why it's very gender neutral. And I don't really care as to like who's wearing it as long as you feel comfortable and it makes you feel good that you're wearing that piece.
Right.
And that in the future is just like this community that it's elevated and we're not portrayed as one thing, but we can do so much more as Latin people, as women, as immigrants, as creatives.
Yeah.
So I think the brand is just like a bigger story than even myself.
This came into my mind as soon as you said it because again, there's a lot of like similarities in that aspect. Like I've seen so many points in my life where I'm like, I didn't ask to be put in the front. If anything, I do like being in the back. Even though I'm extremely extroverted, there are times like I need to be with myself too.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard it this way. It's like when one person's dream gets achieved, thousands become possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the fact that you being placed in the front and saying, hey, like you've been trusted with this amazing opportunity and you're not squandering it. If anything, you're bearing the responsibility with like joy because like you get to be this great example. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to give you your flowers and
Thank
your kudo
you.
there because I think I cannot tell you like again I respect so much of your hustle. You are like a one man operation in terms of you making the apparel, but it does take a village. It does take a community. You can't do it all, and if you do, you're going to be in the hospital.
Absolutely.
So like the stress and trying to figure out everything, like hey, what can I do my best at, and then help build a team around me, not to work for me, but to work with me, to partner and collaborate. And so I think the last question I want to ask you is, how do you define success in your life, and where do you see La Paisa in the next, let's say, 5 years from now? What does that look like for you? Whether it's in Washington, whether it scales at different places, like what is your vision, and if you want to share?
No, of course. I feel like since last year, I only had like a year ahead that I was thinking about it. And I'm like, how cool would it be to do this? And everything was just like, how cool, how cool, how cool, but not like, oh my gosh, I dream of this, And I think that what I would like is freedom for my family, not only financially, but I think just like having this that and then my aunt said it in such a beautiful way, but she's like, I want to tell everybody how proud I am of my niece. And like that there's somebody in the family that is carrying that last name. And it's just like this proudness feeling that they can connect to something that it's bigger and something that is like, yo, our family built this, like our grandparents built this, and we're moving our name forward. And like we have something that we can stamp it and be like, that's our family,
Right.
And then in 5 years, like I would love to see myself doing this full time. I really would. And I know that that's going to be really hard. Is it impossible? Maybe not. But I would love to be doing this full time. And then I would love to showcase in New York, but not like in a little show. Like what I'm doing here in Seattle, I want to do it in other places. And I think New York would be like the next big one within like the next 5 years. Is it a crazy dream? Yeah. But if I wouldn't have dreamed crazy, I don't think I would have gotten here.
Right.
So maybe that, and like maybe a store. I would love to have a store because I tried this year and flopped, but that's okay. Maybe I'm training for something else, or maybe that was not the place for me to be. But I would love to have a store where I can have people come in and I can make them feel comfortable and I can make them feel loved, and they have like this creative space where nothing is crazy for them. Everything is just a possibility, and I can create pieces for them.
I'm going to mention it too.
Oh my God.
So we actually filled up the memory card. So I had to literally delete a file that I knew I uploaded. I'm like, if not, all right, I hope we go. Okay.
Sorry to
no,
the last podcast.
No, you're good. I think we'll be good in a few minutes. But again, we were sharing like defining what success looked like for you, and it was a storefront. It was being able to, present at a large scale like fashion show in New York. Being able for your fashion to reach a lot of those like what do you call them, like fashion capitals? Is that what it would be called? Like New York.
Yes, and I mean it would be great to have them be bigger there, but like just reach the people that are looking for those pieces. Not necessarily like the states, but being able to reach the folks that are looking for fun, sustainable fashion that is streetwear and not have a size attached to it because I don't also believe in sizes. Like a lot of the thrifted pieces that I find, they're like, it says large, but it fits like a medium. And I'm like, that's exactly why. Because I just make stuff. And if you fit it, put it on. It doesn't really matter.
Right. And I think that's the coolest thing. Like you're building with a purpose. You build with the intentionality of like, I don't want to just be a brand. I want to be like not even just a statement piece, but I want to be part of history. I want to be able to say like this is La Paisa on the map. And again, before the camera cut, I hope we didn't miss it, but it was where you said I want my family to really be part. Like La Paisa is the core of the family, being able to say like our family built this and did this together. So again, you have an incredible story. I'm gonna make sure we put all your information, but it's La Paisa on Instagram. It is it La Paisa on YouTube as well?
La Paisa on YouTube, even though I don't use it a lot, but it's La Paisa on YouTube.
It's okay. And then I'll mention also Zakia and then the Chai movement.
Yes, please.
I want to give you like the floor in the sense of, are there any specific shout outs you want to give?
Yeah.
Because I know there are a few, with a village and community, there's a few.
There's such a huge group that is helping me build this next show, but there are people that are just core to me at this point that have helped me throughout the whole year. Andy Mori on social, like he's amazing. He's my videographer and he has helped me tell my story, which is very hard. But the guy does like docu-series like nobody's business. He's so good. Lauren, she's my top model. She's my model coordinator and she has helped me bad, thick, like all of it. Thick, good stuff, like all of it. She has helped me through so much. Zakia, who's like my partner in crime for this year, my husband, because without him, I literally would not survive. Like literally, that man is my backbone. My parents, my grandma, my parents, everything that we've gone through this year has been like, tough, but without them, I would not be here. And that's a huge part on the show that you're gonna get to learn and the story through that. And then the entire team that is helping this like go through. So I'm gonna name the team leads because if not, like there's 98 people. It's way too many people. But we have like Dress Up Box, which is amazing photographer. She's done a lot of my campaigns. Andy Mori, videography. We have Lauren Belicia, and she is model coordinator. We have Solani, who's one of my close friends for event coordination. We have Michelle, who's also event coordination, and then we have Zakia. We also have Fashion Talk Tuesday. They run a fashion podcast as well, and they are phenomenal. They're going to be the host of the event. We have Marky Mark, who is the stylist for the show. We have Louise, who's running like music. Like there's so many people, and we're building an online catalog where you can find all of them. Shakira for hair by Shakira, and then by Valeria on Instagram, who's our makeup artist. And if I'm missing anybody, I'm so sorry, but it's a huge team.
Right. And we're going to highlight everyone else so that they're included with everyone else, because at the end of the day, like we are all you are all building this vision of this event. It's not just, again, you being in the front, but it's saying without the people with me, not behind me, but walking alongside me, I couldn't put this together. And so again, like, gosh, this is so exciting. Like, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I'll make sure that I put the actual, is it on Eventbrite for the tickets or what?
No, it's at the Tacoma page, Tacoma Armory page. So I think it's like tacomaartslive.com.
Okay.
And our ticketing is there. It's on all our social platforms. So like on my Instagram, on Linktree, you will find it. And then the first 100 people that buy their tickets, they get a special goodie bag. So instead of having VIP and general admission, it's just if you're in the first 100, then you get that goodie bag.
How much are you pricing for the tickets?
They're $120, but with the fees for the Tacoma Armory or the venue place, it goes up to like $136.
Okay.
But because it's going to a nonprofit, it's just like one of those things that like we can't mark it down or change it too much. But it's gonna be doing something good. And then we have raffles by some of our sponsors. The Crocodile Hotel is one.
Oh, cool.
We have a Noto Verde bag. We have a piercing one. Hair by Robert is also doing a $500 like goodie bag for hair, and we're going to be raffling it. And 100% of the profits go to the Chai movement.
I love this. Again, it's just everything just screams like we are building this community, but it's always going back into people in this community.
Yes.
And there's so much aspiration because when you build a community, that's the whole point, is so that everyone gets elevated. not just one person getting all the accolades or the bread, but every single person does their part to add value to this ginormous vision. So
Yeah, I would not have been able to do it without them. Like zero. I would not have been able to do it without them. And I
yeah,
thank them. There we have 34 models.
wow,
We have a band of 5. We have 10 photographers, 5 videographers. We have like volunteers. There's 10 of them. It's a big, big team, and I would never be able to do it without them. And the other
right,
thing is like I open up the applications and I open up the forms to models that have never modeled before, but they want to get into the industry, or photographers that haven't done an event before but want to learn more about it. And
right,
it's like not only for us, but it's like mentorship and just like opportunities that nobody is going to give you,
right,
then my community will. So
right.
like I always encourage people not to be scared to like come and work with me.
Yeah, and I think because I've had experiences too, like people look for you got to have experience at this to like be
Mm-hmm.
qualified. I think it's like no, if you feel called to do it, that someone has to give you a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think again I find that similar with myself too, because it's like you can't just expect every person to be a master photographer, for example, because unfortunately, guess what? They come with master photographer prices, and it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to have people who do that say, "Hey, I want to do this for free," and it's like.
Yeah.
I want that quality, but at the same time, it's very hard. But again, I think we're ready to wrap up. So
Done.
thank you, Paisa.
Thank you.
This was an incredible opportunity. You are welcome anytime to come
Thank
on the
you.
podcast. And then, was there another event you were talking about earlier? So it was it's the one at Tacoma Art, and
Mm-hmm.
then you mentioned one for the Museum of Light. Are you allowed to talk
No,
about
that
that?
one I'm not in that one. I was just saying
Oh,
like fall shows. There are a
oh,
few like fashion shows that are happening in the fall. The
okay,
one that is just with me, which is my bigger one, and I'm not doing any more shows
right,
for the rest of the year,
right.
hopefully. Is the one at the Tacoma Armory.
Perfect, perfect. And again, I'll make sure we include all the information,
Yes,
but this has
please.
been such an honor.
Thank you.
I love being able to break bread with so many different people because I find like there's either similarities or things I learn, and I just want to be able to have that be showcased to you and your community, for the people in mine, and again to have like cross collaboration where people can actually grow. And I think I might have some like ideas for collaboration in the future. And I'm just like,
Not this
maybe
year, not
not this. No, 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 no.
2025.
I'm thinking like 2026, 27.
Perfect.
Yeah. Let me get a breather.
Yes, let's think a little bit.
So thank you so much.
Thank you for
And
having
then
me.
you're welcome. I'll see you.